City Morgue are a pretty hardcore duo, consisting of two people. Well, yeah, it's a duo. Yeah, they're a great duo consisting of 12 people. ZillaKami and SosMula. I might have gotten that second one wrong. I'm gonna just go with Mula for now. But yeah, their sound, it's pretty familiar at this point. You know, dudes like XXXTentacion and Denzel Curry and Kamiada, Scarlord, Syringe. You know, those dudes who have that really just nihilistic, aggressive, you know, angry, just fucking menacing, hellish approach to the sounds of cloud rap and SoundCloud rap and like trap and hardcore hip hop and shit, distorted harsh 808s and kicks, violent drum patterns, really brief track runtimes, screamed vocals, intentionally very messy mixing, you know, that type of shit. City Morgue kind of fall in that category. This new album, Hell or High Water, it's just 14 really straight to the point, cutthroat, aggressive bangers that are just lethal as fuck and just holding absolutely nothing back. The entire 32-minute long runtime, you know, the lyrical themes here, they're pretty trashy, pretty mindless, talking about, you know, murder and women and all the women in their lives and how amazing they are and how frozen their wrist is, you know the drill. It's pretty much all just mindless indulgence. Most of the bars on this thing are like pretty provocative, like threats, just to show you how dangerous they are, like what they'll do to you if you fuck with them. See, this music's quite anarchistic and deranged and in your face and obnoxious, and it's definitely not for everyone, but I do think the appeal in this style of music is pretty clear. Obviously it's not lyrical, but I think there is some, you know, some drawing point to the very give no fucks, just I will destroy you at any given moment if you dare try and cross me attitude that this album kind of has. You know, I think you're just indulging yourself in it for a bit at least. It's just a bit of a fun throw. Beats in this thing are loud, bass heavy, have loads of distorted electric guitars as well on a lot of these tracks. The kick patterns, again, insanely violent, especially on songs like P.T.S.D and Arson. There are some pretty interesting sound effects and instrumental flourishes kind of scattered throughout some of these beats too, to sort of add to and accentuate the uncontrollable rage that this whole album's just trying to give off at every second. Like on Nuka-Cola, there's this like really creepy descending piano line that just adds to the really twisted and menacing nature of the song. And then you have the song Lamborghini Getaway, which features this like really kind of heavenly melodic kind of vocal note that just kind of pings off the kicks really smoothly in an oddly frightening way. In regards to vocal performances from the two members, they're both kind of doing the same thing throughout the entire album, and I don't really think, I mean you can tell them apart, like, you know, you can tell their voices apart, but they're both sort of shooting to strike the same chord. They're both trying to sound as intimidating, as angry, as animalistic as possible, so there's not really a hugely compelling voice to this album, but it's not really trying to be that. With that being said, that they are kind of doing the same thing on every track. They're screaming their brains out with these really just hellish growling vocals, and it gets a little bit tired and grating to me personally after a while. This is the kind of music that I personally would find the most enjoyment just in small doses, since it's just kind of doing the same thing throughout the entire album in a pretty painfully formulaic and similar way. You know, I mean, what songs stand out to you on this album, which ones strike you as filler, it's all kind of up in the air. It's interchangeable, you know, in regards to technical ability, in regards to flows and all that. They're occasionally pretty decent. I liked Mula's first verse on the song Shinner's 13. I thought he sounded really troubled and disturbed in that song. His vocal performance was really wild. I thought it was quite captivating. He seems to be my favorite of the two members. He seems to be the least one note of the two. ZillaKami, though, does still come through with some pretty good highlights. I enjoyed his verse. I think it was on Arson. He had like this really speedy and focused delivery throughout the entire verse. I thought it was really great, and a few flow switch ups too to keep things kind of dynamic and fresh. I thought Grave Hop 187 was probably the hardest fucking song on this album. The hook is fantastic. By the way they just scream, it has this sort of primal feel to it. It's pretty great. The shrieking guitar line is wild too on this track and perfectly complements how angry and just untamed they are on this song. The way Mula comes on this track with his more sort of subdued performance before eventually then exploding into possibly the most wild verse on the whole album, that was a really thrilling moment for me. Low points would probably be songs like Snow on the Bluff. The vocals on this track were mixed in kind of obnoxiously high. It got a little bit annoying to me. The singing too on this track was really subpar, so it doesn't really blend too well with the poor mixing. It just ended up being a bit of a grating moment. 33rd, Black Glass, and Kenpark seemed to me, these kind of struck me as just total filler tracks, but again, what strikes you as filler is just kind of up to you, because there's nothing really these tracks did better or worse than the other distorted angry bangers. Like they banged hard, they were distorted, and they were angry. I just personally thought they did nothing. They didn't really reach any particular peaks that other tracks didn't already do better for me personally. Because again, every song here I think could be broken down to a pretty simple science. So which songs stick out to you? It's subjective. They're all kind of just shooting for the same thing. I thought Downer and Or Shit, for example, were pretty weak. This track just had ZillaKami on it as well. No Mula on this track. It was just ZillaKami. I thought we played it kind of safe on this one though. The beat, again, it's a bit different. It's more kind of melodic, I guess, but I don't really think it complemented ZillaKami's really just gruff voice that well. It just made for an awkward combination in my opinion. And Downer, I thought what a terrible hook. Really hated the singing on the hook on that one. But yeah, that's Hell or High Water really. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a very one-dimensional and transparent album. It doesn't really have an album's worth of ideas at all. But I think it's quite a thrill in small doses, you know. So I'd go with a 6. I enjoyed it. It was cool, but it's not like something I'm gonna rush to come back to and like peel away or anything like. It's pretty mindless and wild. That's the point. I think it does its job fine. If you are looking for an album, a rap album to just viciously destroy you over the head and just be as fucking violent as possible with loud bass, screamed vocals, then yeah, this will probably do it for you. You'll probably find something to enjoy here. But for me, I'm gonna go with a 6. So yeah, those are my thoughts on City Morgue Volume 1, Hell or High Water. Bye.